Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, Context is Everything Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is reading another textbook. This one is from the year 1940. That's right, 1940, before we entered into World War II, and it's an American history textbook, probably for like 5th or 4th graders. Chapter 7, Section 3. A Man of the People, Andrew Jackson, the man on the $20 bill, the man who had done most for America up to this point had come from the 13 original states. Most of them came from very comfortable homes. The first presidents were well-educated men. Now we are not to learn of a great American who was born very poor. Now we are to learn about a great American who was born very poor. He was a man who lived in the rough Tennessee country, beyond the mountains. This interesting person was Andrew Jackson. He was a hero of the Battle of New Orleans in the War of 1812, winning Florida. After the War of 1812, Jackson was a hero to the people. He remained in the army and had many exciting experiences. One of his experiences resulted in adding a large piece of country to the United States. At this time, Georgia was the most southern state, and it had a very bad neighbor. The bad neighbor was Florida. Spain owned Florida, but paid little attention to it. Florida was filled with troublemakers. The Seminoles lived there. They were a fierce Indian tribe and often made raids into Georgia. It was quite safe for these Indians to attack the settlement in Georgia. The Seminoles could run back into Florida when they got in trouble. They were safe in the swamps and the forests. Slaves often escaped from their masters by crossing over from Georgia into Florida. Pirates had hiding places along the coasts of that country. Florida was really a very bad neighbor. Why is it? Okay. 1940, folks. The year is 1940 that this book was written. General Andrew Jackson was ordered to protect the border of Georgia. Jackson did not stop at the border but crossed into Florida. This was an invasion into foreign territory. He attacked the Indians and outlaws on their own ground. He hanged them and burned their homes. General Andrew Jackson was ordered to protect the border of Georgia. Jackson did not stop at the border, but crossed into Florida. This was an invasion into a foreign territory. He attacked the Indians and outlaws on their own ground. He hanged some and burned their homes. Soon all Florida was under his control. The Spaniards were furious when they heard Jackson's invasions. Fortunately, a peaceful way was found to settle the whole matter. Spain agreed to sell all of Florida to the United States. The map above shows the territory added by the purchase of Florida. It cost the United States $5 million to settle the problem of Florida in 1819. So yes, it does sound like Andrew Jackson was not a good guy. But if you think about it, if people are getting killed, you got to do something. It's just definitely validating why people don't like Andrew Jackson, what I just read. And I'm not going to argue with him. Andrew Jackson, president. Jackson's fame was growing greater. The ordinary people like this daring general. They liked his great bravery, his strength forward manner, his careless dress, and his rough speech. Jackson's friends felt he was just the man to be president of the United States. He was elected in the high office in 1828. Jackson's election brought about many changes. Instead of just being a rough soldier and a backwoodsman, Jackson proved himself to be a statesman. The spoils system. Jackson had the idea on his own about running the government. He felt that to be victors belonged the spoils. The spoils were the government jobs. The victors were those who voted for him. Jackson discharged more than 2,000 men who were working for the government. He put his own friends in their places. Jackson believed that any ordinary man was capable of taking a government job. Many of the men selected by Jackson and his friends were really not fit for the jobs they were given. Even to this day, we feel bad effects of the spoils system. South Carolina and the Tariff. Jackson was very direct in his actions. During his first term, as president, South Carolina got in trouble with the United States government. This dispute arose over a tariff law. The tariff is a tax on goods brought into the country. Such a tax is put on for two reasons. One, to get money to run government, and two, to help home manufacturers. Okay. Without such a tax, people would buy the cheap goods from foreign countries. Our own factories would close and our workers would be without jobs. So Congress passed the tariff law. Again, this is from 1940. That already happened. The South did not like the tariff. The people of the South were farmers. They had no factories. They wanted cheap clothes, farm implements, tools, and other goods, no matter where they were manufactured. The Southerners could not see why farmers should be taxed to help a manufacturer. Finally, the people of South Carolina became very angry about the tariff law. They made up their minds that no tax on foreign goods would be collected in their seaports. They passed a They passed a stupid state law, is what it says. The law passed by South Carolina attempted to nullify the tariff law passed by Congress. Nullify means that the law would no longer be in effect. The lawmakers of South Carolina had not thought very clearly. Only the lawmaking body which makes the law has the power to nullify that law. Congress had made the tariff law, only Congress could nullify it. The Federal Union. Jackson knew that South Carolina was doing a very dangerous thing. Every state must obey the Congress, otherwise the Union would soon go to pieces. Jackson took a very dramatic way of telling what he thought. He was invited to a banquet and asked to give a toast. Jackson rose and sternly proposed this toast. Our Federal Union, it must, and it shall be preserved. Soon after this, he ordered 2 warships to the Charleston harbor to notify the army to be ready. Before any real trouble happened, a new tariff law was passed by Congress. It lowered the tax little by little. The danger of the Union passed, but only for a little while. Years later, the terrible Civil War was fought to preserve our Federal Union. That's it. God bless. Bye-bye. And Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and the other one that has the steel pole that's in Seinfeld. Bye-bye.